My dad used the last $400 I'd saved by skipping meals, money I'd quietly stashed away, to protect the family. Then, he did something I still can't forgive. He let my 6-year-old sister go to settle a debt he'd created himself. I lost it. Demanded answers. He just looked at me, eyes full of panic, and whispered, "If anyone finds out, we won't make it through the night." I didn't say a word. That was 3 years ago. Last week I watched him sit motionless in court as the judge read out the verdict. He didn't flinch, but when they uncuffed him for lunch, he cried. I was 13 when I first asked why me and my little sister hadn't eaten that day. "Sweetheart," he said, "I'm doing this for the family. We're gonna win. Just trust me." But deep down, I already knew. My dad had fallen into the grip of something that chewed through our lives slowly. Addiction to chance. It started small. Scratch cards from the gas station. But soon, he was spending entire weekends glued to poker tables. I remember the year it really began, because it was the first time we got nothing for our birthdays. Not even for Christmas. I started stealing. Not big things, just little trinkets. A cheap bracelet. A tiny purse. All for my sister. Because the way her face lit up when I gave her something, it made me feel like I could fix it. "Is this really for me?" she'd squeal and throw her arms around me. Dad always said the big win was coming, that only losers quit right before they hit the jackpot. I wanted to believe him. So badly, I repeated those same hopes to my sister like bedtime stories. Things will get better soon. Daddy will come back to us. Where was our mom? Working. 14-hour shifts as a nurse. She had no idea what was happening at home. And Dad convinced me, somehow, that if she knew, it would only make things worse. But I hit my limit. I was the one helping him to bed after long nights of online gambling, the one skipping meals so my sister could eat, the one trying to keep things normal. But when she burst into tears during her school play, because the seat next to me, the one Dad promised he'd fill, was empty, I cracked. I texted Mom. "Can we talk?" She replied instantly. I felt hopeful. We sat down and I told her everything. The hunger, the chaos, the lies. She listened, then quietly placed her hand on mine and said, "No man is as good at hiding things from his wife as he thinks he is." I blinked. "So, now things will change?" "Sweetheart, families help each other carry the load," she said, kissed me on the head, and went to bed. That night, I lay there doing the math in my head like always. 4 more years until I turned 18. 4 more years of this. If I didn't share a room with my sister, I might have done something I couldn't take back. Then came the lowest point. Dad came home late with a black eye and blood running from his nose. "How much do you have in savings?" were the first words out of his mouth. $400, I said without thinking. I need it all. That money had taken months to save. Babysitting, skipped meals, worn out shoes. "It's to keep us safe," he said. "I owe people. You can see they're not happy." I handed it over. He swore on my sister's life that he was done with gambling. I wanted to believe that so badly. 2 days later, I woke up to find my sister sneaking out of the room. I asked where she was going. "Daddy's taking me to McDonald's," she whispered. "But he said not to tell you 'cause you'd get jealous." I smiled, told her to have fun, went back to sleep. She never came back. The next morning, her bed was empty. Her favorite stuffed animal, gone. And when I turned to my dad and screamed, "Where is she?" he just stared. He couldn't meet my eyes. He just kept mumbling, "They said they'd come for all of us if I didn't do it. I had no choice. She's with a good family now." I didn't let him finish. I was already dialing for help, but he moved faster than I thought. He lunged, grabbed the phone, wrestled it from my hands, and threw it against the wall. It shattered on impact. I fought back, yelled at him, demanded to know where my little sister was, but he just kept repeating the same thing. "You don't understand. These people are serious. They don't play around." That's when my mom walked through the door, home early from her shift. I ran to her sobbing, telling her so was gone. I thought she'd panic, thought she'd be furious. Instead, she looked between us and told me to calm down. Said, "We'll handle this, as a family." Handle what? A 6-year-old was missing. She wasn't on a sleepover. She hadn't run away. She was gone. Mom sat us down, one on each side of her. She said, "Sometimes families have to make hard choices." I thought I was losing my mind. What hard choice? What kind of choice ends with a child disappearing? That's when Dad started talking. He owed money, more than he could ever repay. And the people he owed? They gave him an ultimatum: pay or lose everything. He chose to give them something valuable. I felt sick. He gave them my sister. Mom put her hand on my knee and told me it wasn't what I thought. They found her a good home, a wealthy couple who couldn't have children. She'll go to private school. She'll have her own room, a better life than we ever could have given her. I pushed her hand away. You can't just give a kid away. That's not noble. That's not family. That's wrong. Dad insisted it was legal. Called it an adoption fee. Said it was handled cleanly. I laughed. I actually laughed. An adoption fee? To people who make threats? That's not adoption. That's something else entirely. I needed proof. Needed to know where she was. So I told them I was going to bed. They seemed relieved. That night, I waited. Listened through the walls until they were in their room. Then I crept to my dad's office. It was always locked. But I knew the spare key was hidden in the fake plant by the window. I searched everything. Drawers, folders, behind books. Most of it was just old bills and casino stubs. But then I found it. A folder hidden under a pile of tax papers. Inside were photos of my sister, ones I'd never seen before. Posed, polished, professional. There were documents too. Height, weight, health history. Like she was property. And a name. Albert and Catherine Morrison. An address. 8 hours away. I used my mom's old digital camera to take photos of everything. I couldn't use my phone. My dad had smashed it. Then I carefully put it all back and returned to my room. I barely slept. I kept thinking of her waking up in some stranger's house, wondering where I was, wondering why I didn't come for her. The next morning, I showed the photos to my mom. I thought the evidence would break the illusion. Instead, she just calmly deleted the camera files. She said it was time to let go, time to move forward as a family, that So had a new future now, one we couldn't give her, that she'd be safer, happier. That's when I realized it hadn't just been Dad. Mom knew. She had always known. They'd planned this together. These were the people who were supposed to love us more than anyone in the world, and they had traded my sister away like she was replaceable. I knew I had to leave. I had to find So, but I had no phone, no car, no money. I was stuck. So I played along. That night I acted like everything was fine. Ate dinner. Watched TV. Smiled at my mom's praise when she said, "I'm proud of how mature you're being." At midnight, they went to bed. I was ready. I took my mom's car keys from her purse, her phone, her credit card. Left a note saying I was spending the weekend at Amber's house. She'd believe it. I packed light. A few clothes, some food, and the camera. Then I slipped out the back door. The car engine sounded too loud in the silence, but no lights came on. I plugged the Morrison address into the GPS. 8 hours and 3 minutes. That was the drive between me and my sister. And I was going to make it. I used my mom's credit card and just hoped she wouldn't check the statement too soon. The highway was nearly empty. Just me, truckers, and the occasional car sliding by in the dark. I stayed awake thinking about So, what I'd say when I found her, how I'd bring her back. The sun was rising by the time I saw the exit sign for Maple Drive. My hands were shaking from exhaustion and way too much gas station coffee. I turned into a quiet neighborhood, the kind with trimmed lawns and 2-car garages, the kind we'd only ever seen on TV. Then I saw it. 142 Maple Drive. White house, blue shutters, 2 cars in the driveway. I parked across the street and just sat there. That house. My little sister was inside. Living with strangers. I didn't have a plan. I couldn't exactly walk up and say, "Hi, I think you bought my sister off someone who owes money to dangerous people. Can I have her back?" They'd either slam the door or call someone way worse than the police. I walked the block like I belonged there, found the alley behind the house, peered through the fence slats. There was a swing set, toys in the yard, expensive stuff, the kind of childhood So had always dreamed of but never got. Then I heard a door open. And there she was. She came running out in a bright pink dress I'd never seen. Hair and pigtails, matching ribbons. She looked, okay, clean, healthy, laughing. A woman followed her out, Catherine, I guessed. Blonde ponytail, yoga pants, holding a juice box. She handed it to So and smiled, called her sweetie. I froze. Part of me wanted to yell her name, jump the fence, grab her and run, but I didn't. I just watched. And for a second, 1 awful second, I wondered if my mom had been right. Was this better for her? No. That thought had to go. This wasn't right. You don't get to just hand off a kid because life's hard. I walked back to the front of the house, stood by the driveway, trying to think. And then I saw her again, through the living room window, sitting on a leather couch, watching cartoons. I walked up and tapped the glass gently. She turned. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. She smiled, started to get up. Then Catherine appeared. Her face shifted fast. Surprise, fear, then anger. She grabbed So and pulled her back. The front door flew open. A man stood there. Albert, probably. Broad shoulders, serious face. He looked like he'd been waiting his whole life for a reason to be intimidating. "What are you doing here?" he asked. I said, "I'm looking for my sister." He snapped back, "You've got the wrong house, no kids here." I pointed right at the window. "I just saw her." He stepped forward, blocking the door. "You need to leave, now." "Call the police then," I told him. "Let's talk about how you paid cash for a 6-year-old girl." That shook him. Catherine came to the door, holding So. My sister reached for me, but Catherine held her tight. Albert said they'd adopted her legally. Had the documents. I laughed. "From who?" "A courthouse behind a gas station." "He said it was a private adoption. Everything by the book." I pulled out my mom's phone, told him I had proof. Documents, bank transfers, names. I was bluffing, but they didn't know that. Catherine whispered something to him. He hesitated, then said we should talk. Inside. I knew it was risky, but So was right there. I couldn't walk away. Inside, they led me to the kitchen. So tried to follow, but Catherine took her upstairs. I heard her crying, calling my name. My chest felt like it was going to explode. Albert sat down across from me, cool as ice. He said they'd tried everything. IVF, adoption agencies. Nothing worked. Then someone introduced them to a facilitator, someone who helped children find families. I asked if that was code for stealing kids from desperate parents. He said no, that's not how it was explained. He said they were told So was unwanted, that her parents couldn't provide for her, that they were doing something good. I wanted to believe he'd just been fooled, but no one's that naive. Not when money's changing hands. Not when you're paying in cash and avoiding paperwork. He knew. They both did. They just didn't care. I told him So had a family. A sister who would never stop looking. Parents who... Actually, I couldn't even finish that part. He said they'd paid $50,000. That she was theirs now. I said I'd go to the police. The FBI. Anyone who'd listen. He laughed. "You're just a teenager. A runaway. No one's gonna take you seriously." He leaned in. "And even if they do, we've got lawyers, connections. What do you have?" He wasn't wrong. I was just a kid with no support, no money, no backup. But I had one thing. While he was talking, I'd already hit record on my mom's phone. It was sitting in my lap, camera facing up, and I'd just gotten him to admit everything. All I had to do now was get out of that house alive. He repeated everything again, how they got So, how no one could prove anything, how she was better off now. I thanked him for being so honest and stood to leave. He grabbed my wrist, tight. "Where do you think you're going?" I said. "Home. For now. But I'm coming back. With people. With attention. With consequences." His grip tightened. He leaned in and whispered that involving outsiders would be a huge mistake. Said the people he dealt with didn't appreciate noise. Said kids who brought trouble sometimes disappeared. I yanked free and bolted, made it to the car and didn't stop driving for an hour. My hands were trembling so badly I had to pull into a rest stop just to breathe. Then I checked the recording. His whole confession. Word for word. Proof. I uploaded it everywhere. Social media, tagged reporters, child services, everyone I could think of. Added a caption that spelled it out. "My parents sold my sister. These people bought her. She's being kept in this house. Please don't ignore this." Then I waited. It didn't take long. My phone blew up. Calls from my mom, my dad, numbers I didn't know. Messages flooded in. Some offered support. Some called me a liar. Others were threats. But the video was being shared. People were angry. Good. Then I got a message from my mom. Just an address. A motel 2 hours away. And 3 words. "Come here now." Every instinct screamed not to go. It felt like a trap. But I had nothing left. No money, no allies, no plan. And maybe, just maybe, they wanted to make it right. I drove. The motel looked like something out of a bad movie. Faded neon, rusted doors, cars without license plates. My parents' car was outside room 12. But there was another vehicle too, sleek, black, tinted windows. My stomach dropped. I knocked. My dad opened the door. His face was worse than before, both eyes bruised, mouth swollen. He pulled me in quickly. The room was small, 2 beds, a stained ceiling. My mom sat on one looking drained. And in the corner, a stranger in a tailored suit that didn't match the setting. He smiled like we were old friends, introduced himself as Mr. Chen, said he was here to resolve a situation. I asked if he was the one who arranged everything. He chuckled. I don't purchase children, he said. I just help certain needs meet certain solutions, smoothly, quietly, until someone breaks the silence. Then he pulled out his phone, showed me my video. Thousands of views already, he sighed. This is unfortunate, makes people nervous, and I can't have that. He said we'd fix it. Together. As a family. I asked him how. He laid it out. I was to delete the video, make a new post, say it was all a misunderstanding, that so was safe with extended relatives, that everything had been taken out of context. Then we all walk away. I told him no. He looked disappointed, like a teacher dealing with a stubborn student. Then he nodded. To my dad. Dad got up, walked toward me. I stepped back. No way out. He said, please, just do what Mr. Chen asks. We can be a family again, just us 3. Like, so never happened. I blinked. Like she never existed? I barely got the words out before he hit me. Hard. First time he ever did. My mom gasped, but didn't stop him. Mr. Chen raised a hand. Let's not get emotional. We're reasonable people. He placed something on the table. A gun. He said it wasn't a threat, just emphasis. Just a reminder that people who disrupted his work tended to vanish. Car wrecks, accidents, falls, and not just them. He let the last word hang in the air. Sisters. He knew exactly where So was. Of course he did. He arranged it. I asked what would happen to her if I did comply. He said she'd grow up comfortably, go to school, maybe forget she even had a different life. But if I kept pushing, well, sometimes families change their minds. Sometimes returns got messy. And damaged goods? Not his problem. I wanted to scream. My mom finally broke her silence. Please, she said. Just do it. Think of So. Keep her safe. My dad nodded. We'll get through this. We'll start over. Maybe even have another child. Try again. That was it. That's when I understood. These people in front of me weren't my parents anymore. Maybe they never had been. The addiction took my dad. Fear took my mom. Now they wanted me to hand over my silence, but I still had something they didn't. I still had fight. And So still had me. I reached for the phone. Mr. Chen smiled. Thought he'd won. He had no idea what I was really about to do. He thought I was going to delete the video. Instead, I opened it and went live. Facebook Live. Camera pointed straight at him, at the gun on the table, at my parents' shocked faces. I spoke quickly, clearly, told viewers where I was, who I was with, what was happening. Named names, gave the address, the room number. Said if anything happened to me or to my little sister, these were the people responsible. Mr. Chen lunged, but I dodged him, kept filming. My dad grabbed at me. I kicked him away. My mom was sobbing, begging me to stop, but I didn't. I kept going. Mr. Chen pulled out his phone and started barking into it in a language I didn't understand. Then he grabbed the gun, pointed it at me. Turn it off, he said. I held the camera steady. Go ahead, I said. Pull the trigger. Let the whole internet watch what happens next. He froze. In the distance, sirens. Getting closer. Someone out there had heard me, watched, cared, reported it. Mr. Chen swore under his breath, told my parents they better clean up the mess. Then, just like that, he walked out. Calm. Like none of it ever happened. My parents tried to follow him. I blocked the door. No one's leaving, I said. You're going to face what you did. My dad tried to push past me. He was too weak. My mom sank onto the bed, sobbing, repeating that I'd ruined everything. That now we were all in danger. Blue and red lights spilled through the curtains. Police came in with weapons drawn. I held up my hands, still clutching the phone. I told them everything about So, the Morrisons, the man in the suit, the threats. They separated us, found the weapon, Took fingerprints, backup arrived, social workers, detectives. That motel room became a full-blown investigation scene. I gave them the Morrisons' address, begged them to get to So. They told me units were already en route. Someone had connected the video to other tips. The Morrisons were being taken into custody. And so, she was safe, on her way to the station. When I heard her voice calling my name, I broke. I ran to the sound. She ran to me. I dropped to my knees as she flew into my arms. She was crying, shaking. Said the people wouldn't let her call me, but she knew I'd come. She always knew. Grandma Ann arrived a few hours later, fierce, exhausted, and furious. She hadn't seen us in years, but she didn't hesitate. She hugged us both tight, said we were safe now. Then she saw her daughter, my mom, behind the glass in a holding cell. Her disappointment was louder than any words. The days after that were a blur. Court hearings, custody paperwork, social services. Grandma fought for us with everything she had. Hired lawyers using her retirement savings. Refused to let them split us up. We stayed together. The Morrisons were charged. Tried to play the victims. But the footage made that impossible. They took a plea deal. 5 years each. Mr. Chen was harder to find, but between the recording, the weapon, and multiple witness statements, they nailed him. Human trafficking, extortion, firearms. He got 15 years. His entire network unraveled. Other kids were found. Other families reunited. And my parents? Dad got 5 years. He cooperated. Turned over details. Names. Helped authorities understand how these operations exploit desperate families. Mom got 3. Her lawyer said she'd been manipulated. Maybe she had. But she was still the adult who was supposed to protect us. She didn't. At the sentencing, she tried to catch my eye. I didn't look back. We moved in with Grandma. Her house was small, but it was clean. Safe. She made real dinners. Set real boundaries. Things we'd never known. So had nightmares for a while. I slept on her floor most nights, whispering promises that she'd never be alone again. We started over. New schools, new names in our notebooks, a new version of home. So started drawing again. Sometimes she included our parents in her pictures. Sometimes she didn't. She went to therapy, started playing soccer. She's 10 now. Says she wants to be a doctor. I'm 18. Her legal guardian. I work at a grocery store and save what I can for college. I still check on her at night. I still flinch when my phone rings late, but it's getting easier. Trauma doesn't vanish, but it fades. We visit Grandma's garden on weekends. We plan road trips. We laugh without guilt. We're not the family we were born into, but we are the family we chose. I don't think about my parents much anymore. And when I do, it's not with anger. Just space. We're too busy living. That night I left home, I stopped being a kid. Not because I had to, because I chose to. We survived. And now, we're okay. This isn't just the end of the story. It's our beginning.